The night has come.
Hello, everyone, to this last Monday in March. I hope you all are doing great. Welcome to the Lightgate. We're coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast. We're on Facebook, we're on Roku, we're on Rumble, and we are on YouTube. I want to thank our sponsor, Carnation. You've been with us almost a year now. We love you very much, and thank you for sponsoring UPRN and UFO Paranormal Radio Network. We are all in your debt. Thank you. Guess what? This is Easy Cheese Balls night.
Well, maybe.
I'm happy about it. No kidding. This is cool. I feel like I'm at home with everybody, just so y'all know. This is like came into the house and everybody's sitting around and we get to yak. So this is fun. Yes.
All right. Are you handing it over to me?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You usually let me know. All right. Thank you, Dolly. Thank you. I'm, of course, your host, Preston Dennett. My lovely co-host is Dolly Safran, and you are joining us for episode 152 of The Lightgate. That's very close to 3 years now. We're so happy that you could take your Monday out for us, join us. We love open mic night. That's what we're doing. We are live. We are hoping you guys can give us all kinds of questions. I see some already. We're doing a book giveaway at the top of the hour. I will tell you how that works later, but that should be all kinds of fun. We will be giving this book away, Undersea UFO Base. If you already have it, you can still play because you can always choose another book out of my list of over 30 books. God, I say that almost embarrassing. But yeah, that's going to be fun. We love doing that. Before we do get started on the show, I do have a few announcements. I want you all to check out Michael Schratt's YouTube channel. He's reviving it. We're very excited about it. He's a huge friend of the show. He really wants to get his channel going again. Just type in Michael Schratt YouTube. It'll take you there. Just put up a new video. It's already got like 3,000 hits. It's less than 24 hours old. He's the go-to guy when it comes to secret military craft, reverse engineering, UFO crashes. His stuff is so interesting. So check that out. Another quick announcement. My dear, sweet, lovely co-host has had her second appearance on Gaia. So this was all kinds of fun. Love to hear a little bit about that, Dolly, in a second. But yeah, that was amazing. I think you're going to have some more appearances on there. It's kind of a little bit of a series there. So if you get a chance, check that out. She did a wonderful job. It's absolutely amazing to see her speak about her experiences with such clarity, and they're so extensive. Okay, a couple of other announcements. I'm trying to get my YouTube channel and the Lightgate on different platforms, and I've finally been successful. You can find the Lightgate on Spreaker. You can find it on, oh my gosh, Amazon, Podbean, Apple, all kinds. Also, I am putting up UFOs in the Paranormal, audio and visual on Spotify. And I'm creating a new standalone series, which I've already done actually, UFOs in Your Hometown on Spotify. These are, of course, also on YouTube. So just if you prefer Spotify, check it out. So I'm very excited about that. And that's basically it. Did you have any shout outs you wanted to do, Dolly?
I want to shout out tonight a very dear friend of ours who lives in Australia. His name is Tony Cadman, and we love him very much. And I want everybody to give a good think on him and send him all the good vibes you've got. He's a wonderful human being. He is from Sweden, like he's been everywhere and done everything. He landed in Australia when he was a young man, and he became an officer, a constable there, and he did many humanitarian things while he was there. And he's in his later years now, and he had some surgery a little while ago, and I just think that he needs a lot of positive vibrations right now. And we love him very, very much. So hi, Tony, we're watching, and that's it. Let's go.
All right. Now, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I just want to tell you a little bit about me, because technically we are kind of the guests tonight. I am an author, researcher, came to this field as a skeptic at age 21, basically found out UFOs were real when my older brother, Mark, well, he tried to tell me earlier when I was 13, but I didn't listen. But then at age 21, I asked him about his sighting and found out it was true and amazing. Found out that my little sister had had encounters, several good friends, people at the office where I worked. I became a MUFON field investigated for 10 years, wrote 30 articles, put out my first book. Since I've put out 32 books and over 100 articles. 3 years ago, started this little podcast called The Light Gate. 3 years before that, did UFOs and the Paranormal, which, yay, has just reached over 50,000 subscribers. Thanks to all of you guys for your support. Amazing. It's so nice to see that so many people are interested in these subjects. All right, that's me in a nutshell, Dolly. You want to correct your nutshell?
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. I am a lifelong experiencer. I'm a generational experiencer. My father before me and before him, and on my mother's side a little bit as well. I started my journey with the tall grays and some of the tall whites that you call them, Nordics, from birth, literally, all the way up until now. I woke up when I was about 14. Before that, I was just remembering everything like it was a movie in my head, and I wasn't making everything connected. And when I was 14, I decided, because I have an eidetic memory, that I was going to connect the dots, and I did. I, at that time, became into lessons. I had to learn how to fly because that's what I wanted, and they let me have the opportunity. It took 4 years. When I was 19, I did my first solo, and I've been flying ever since. Right now, I'm on the ground with everybody here, and this is what we're doing. So that's it.
Okay. I do want to say a little bit about our guests, because technically our guests are you guys. We
That's
have
right.
the best audience ever. We absolutely love interacting with you guys. So you guys are our guests tonight. We want to hear your stories. We want your questions. I already see a bunch of questions already.
Absolutely.
So Nick is the first in line and says, can we ask questions? Yes, please do. So quick hello to all you folks so we can really get going. Hello, Cherise. Nice to see you here. Foggy Notions podcast. We got AM 8370.
Yeah. Okay.
A nice crowd already. We have Chris,
Christine. Hello.
And we can get our questions ready in all caps. That helps, but I'm pretty good at this. But caps definitely help. Thank you, Cherise. We love you. You guys are amazing. Every donation helps us so much. So we absolutely thank you so much for that. Hello, Teresa. Thank you for joining us. Namaste. There are no words, only actions. So we'll figure it out.
We love you.
We love you. Thanks. Okay, who else do we have here? We got lots of questions. Flea Market Gold.
Hey, Flea Market.
Thanks for joining us, my bud. We got Aurora Comedy Vids.
Hey.
And we have the lovely Louise from New Jersey.
Louise, I love you, sweetie.
Olivia Escamilla.
Hello.
We have our good friend Michael Kennedy who came to visit. That was so much fun. We adore you, Michael.
Say hi to Kylie. Love you, Kylie.
Sonny Burnett, Johnny J2B.
Yeah. Hey.
We have Nick. I'm not popping up your name because the question. Oh, there you are. Oh, well, actually, you were the first one in line, weren't you? Star Orchid, hello, and thank you.
Thank you, sweetie. Thank
Much
you.
love. Happy Monday. You just made it that much happier.
Yep.
Oh, Patsy. Hello, Preston and Dolly, and all you
Oh.
wonderful people.
Hi, Patsy. Hello.
We just have a good time here, don't we?
Yes.
Dr. Nils Rasmussen.
Hi.
Glad you could join us. Okay, I'm
Nice
going
to
to wrap
see you.
this up real quick because I do want to get to the questions. Stargazer.
Hi,
How'd you go?
Hi. Hello.
The Owl Man. Light
The
Gate
Owl Man.
Monday. Becky Duncan.
Hello,
We got a
Vicky.
nice big crowd here already, Dolly. This is very
Hello.
cool.
Wonderful.
Nick Browning from Vancouver Island. I've been there, and so has Bigfoot, I understand.
Yes.
Astrid Gooder, Perennial Philosophy. We got Carrie Fast 8 and Aurora Coming Kids. And Agozan Ardik. I think I got that right.
Hanardish.
Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Okay. I'm going to star that one, Earth, Water, Wind. That's a good question. Hello, Medicine for the Spirit. Blue Market Gold. Is Preston cutting out for everyone? I sure hope not.
I hope not,
you guys
too.
Let us know if I'm cutting out. I will try to
You're
fix
not
my
to me, so I
speaker.
don't know if it's doing it to everybody else.
All right. Well, I'll just pop that up just in case. Okay. I think I better get started. I do see some other names here, but I really want to. Oh, Becky Sloan. I watched Michael Schretz's Roswell video today. Awesome. Very cool. Ogazan. Thank you so much.
Thank
we
you
really appreciate it.
My goodness. Thank you. Thank you.
You guys are amazing.
Helping to pay our bills this month. Thank you. It's not easy being on a network. Okay.
Sending love and healing to Tony. And I see quite a few to Tony Cadman. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? I best get going real quick because I do see some other names here. White Dragon, Daniel Nardine, Thirsty. Hi. We love you, Thirsty.
Hi, Thirsty.
And Nicola Knight. And I really better just get started. Please forgive me if I didn't say your name, but we know.
Put a question in, and then we'll be able to say your name.
Scroll Serpent.
Hello.
I see a lot of people in here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
So best get started because I'm already losing track of the questions. There's so many. You guys are amazing. Let me just put a few stars here. I'm going to get to the first question before we get too far ahead. All right. This one's... Dolly, do you want to say a bit about being on Gaia while I finish starting the last discussion?
Cool. They flew us up there, and we stayed in a very, very posh spa. It was wonderful. And they had a limo for us everywhere we went. And when we got to the studio, Dolly got to go to makeup. You see this face? I don't wear makeup. and I got maked up. And we got brought into the studio. And before we had gotten there, about 2 weeks prior, I had been answering questions and going over the 4 different shows that we were going to do. So we were filling out topics and what questions that were pertinent to ask and stuff like that. And when it all got done, that's when we got there. And Emery Smith is a cool dude. Yeah. And he's...
I'm just going to hop in there because someone's asking, what is Gaia?
Gaia is a network, actually. It's been around for a very, very long time. And it's a streaming platform. Used to be on the regular TV channels. They carried it, but then when everything changed with streaming platforms, you have to ask for them to stream, and you can usually use your phone to get to them and stream it to your TV, or you can ask your service to put them
all
up.
Kinds of UFO shows and paranormal stuff.
Oh, it's everything. They have a little bit of everything. Absolutely. Their CEO, his name is Sid Goldman, and he is a wonderful, wonderful man. This is a person, I don't meet this many kind of people in my lifetime, but he has a quest for knowledge that is incredible. He's looking everywhere. He goes global. He's on the hunt for true things and the truth about what's going on. And it's his life mission. And I was very pleased to come to Gaia and work with them. It was an honor, actually. And I don't want to get all misty and anything, but I really had a good time with them. They're good people, you know.
Yeah, check out the show. It's really interesting to see.
Emery Smith, like I said, Emery Smith is he's a very, very good host, and he's dead on what he does. He's wonderful.
Yeah, we had him on the Light Gate. He's a pretty interesting
he
guy.
Did.
Can't say I agree with every single thing he says, but I never agree with everybody. So
yeah, he's a fellow Floridian like me. He grew up in Naples, and I grew up in the Everglades. We have a lot in common.
Oh, he's a contactee. All kinds of animal stories. It was very interesting to see you too.
His wife as well. Awesome. She really is.
Yeah.
So okay.
They were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Dolly. We'll get started now because I see we've got like 30 questions already lined up.
Okay.
And they're coming in fast.
Okay.
And again, real quick, we're doing a book giveaway at the top of the hour. So I will explain how that works in a second.
Yeah.
All right. First question is from Chris. Pause. Teen. Question for Dolly. When you had your near-death experience, did you see ET beings or others?
When I had my NDE, I was a very small child. I was between 5 and 6. I was about 5.5. And my spleen, I had really severe infectious mononucleosis at that age. They don't even know where I got it from. And my spleen ruptured. My doctor just happened to be at the house with me when it occurred, and he put pressure on me. And we hauled for the hospital. He threw me in this little car, my mom, and we got there as fast as we could. I expired in the room. They were carrying me. He was pumping my heart as hard as he could with his hand on my spleen, trying to hold the blood. I remember leaving my body in the room and looking down at everybody and watching how they were reacting to what was happening. And then the next thing I know, I was somewhere else. I mean, like that, I was somewhere else. And it was like I was on a portico, a giant porch off a giant building. And when I looked out over the edge of the portico, it's like a porch. I saw, first thing I noticed was the sky was not blue, it was pure white, and it was electric white light. But below that, there was green grass everywhere and rolling hills and trees and all kinds of things. And I looked to my right, and in front of me on my right, I saw a bunch of people standing there waiting to talk to me. I mean, I could feel them, and I knew that they were my people. Okay. And I was just getting ready to like run to them, and a hand touched me on the shoulder from the back. And he told me he loved me. And he waved his arm in front of me out to the fields, and he said, I have something to tell you. And he said, I want you to listen to me. And, I'm all ears. I was just grateful to not be in pain anymore. I was in severe pain when I expired. And it felt like I was real. I mean, I could move I thought I had a body. I could move things. I was hearing myself talk. I mean, it was incredible. And he said, see the animals? And I looked out into the fields, and I saw all these animals everywhere. And he said, these will be important to you in your future life. He said, your mission, one of your missions in life is that you're going to be experiencer with animals, and that you're going to help take care of them no matter where you are or what you're doing. If an animal comes to you hurt, you take care of it. And he said,
you're 5 years old at this time. Oh my God.
And changed my life. When he got done saying that, he put his hand up, and the people who were waiting for me stopped. They didn't come forward. And he said, but you have to go live your life now. He said, it's not your time, and you're being sent back. And before I could open my mouth to argue about it, because boy, was I gonna, I landed in my body at Mach 12. I mean, I felt the punch of landing back in my own body. It was instant pain. And I woke up, I was waking up, and I could see my mother looking over me. And I guess I was in recovery, and they were really shocked that I made it through that, because my spleen had ruptured. You don't usually live through that. And they were surprised when he got me to the emergency room and they got in, because my spleen had already stopped bleeding by the time I got to the hospital. His CPR did pretty much bring me back. and they did a little bit of repair work and came out. My spleen still functions to this day.
So you didn't
And
see any ETs on the other side?
I just know that I saw people that belonged to me, my family, were waiting for me. That was the feeling that I got. Now, whether that included ET, I don't know. But at 5.5, you're not picking and choosing or identifying differences, because I just saw them to my right, and they were kind of half in light and half in dark. I couldn't make out faces or whatever. I just knew that they were there and waiting for me. And that's happened. I did have another NDE when I was an adult. I was almost 30 years old, and I went into a diabetic coma, and I was alone. The last message anybody got from my family, my mother was in Miami with her brother, my uncle. He was passing away, and she was there with them. And my dad was in Chicago still. And then when he flew back, he had bypassed, this is Christmas too. He went to our lake house. We had a house on the lake in Lake Oliver in Alabama. And we were about to experience below zero that year. And they had to clear the pipes because the house was still being built. And they didn't want the pipes to freeze and burst everywhere. So he and my brother were down there. And the last thing anybody heard from me is I'd called my aunt in Miami and said, I need help. Tell my mother to come to the phone. And she said, she can't. She's with your uncle. And I said, well, she just needs to come home. Well, my mom called my dad, and my brother called his best friend who lived right less than an eighth of a mile from us. He kicked the door in. And, he's a wonderful guy. And he got me out of my room, carried me down the stairs, put me in his little MG, and I'm a tall Amazon girl. I had one fleeting second in the car when he hit the highway. He was going about 120 miles an hour, and I registered that for some reason, and then I went back into the coma. And when we got to the hospital, they said that I had started to code. By the time he got me there, I was coding as they brought me in, and they ran a code on me, and they got me back, and they realized, after testing me real quick, they knew what was happening to me. I woke up again, and it was Grady Hospital in Atlanta, and they put me in the hallway, waiting to put me in a room or take me up to, the ICU. And this man in a white jacket and pants looked ethereal to me, beautiful blonde, blue eyes, was talking to me, and he told me his name was Stephen. And Stephen stayed with me until I was supposed to go up to the ICU, and he found a room with nobody in it, which surprised the heck out of me. This is Grady Hospital. And I had a phone in there, and he got me an outside line, and I called my dad and told my dad that I'm at Grady, that, Neil got me there. And they said they all knew it. Everybody's trying to get home now to get to me, and it would take everybody a while to get there. And I'm like, okay. And Stephen took me up to the ER. The next morning, I asked the nurses, who was Dr. Stevens? Because I wanted to thank him. He was so nice to me. He stayed with me. Doctors just don't do that, And I wanted to give him a note, send him flowers, something. And they said they didn't know who I was talking about. And I said, Dr. Steven. And I described them to him. And they said, there is nobody here like that. And I said, well, how the heck did I get in here? She said, an orderly brought you, a lady orderly, not a guy. And I'm like, I don't.
That's not uncommon. In hospitals, there's all kinds of angels and spirits.
Because my brother's best friend was Neil, who rescued me, and his brother had just passed away about less than a month before I went into that coma, and it was him who was there with me. That's amazing to me. That's unbelievably amazing to me. I had it from both brothers were taking care of me. That's phenomenal to me.
We're all looked over, and they'll come to us when our times of need.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go to another question. This one is also from Chris Teen, who got in line first. This one's for me. I'm sure it applies to you too, Dolly. Have you been having OBEs lately, either while sleeping or through meditation? I almost always have them after going to bed. Though technically it's not while sleeping because you're awake and you wake up. I have certainly had them from a waking state. And yes, I am having them. I would say once or twice, fully conscious, because we have them every night. A month, I've been having them. I went for a couple of years, 3 or 4, without having any. I got really scared. That was 10 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, maybe this is gone. But no, they came back. My most recent one, I just felt, you get this feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm waking up. And then I used to get this vibratory feeling. I don't get that anymore. I just kind of slide out and I'm like, okay, I'm free. It's a really cool feeling because you kind of levitate and float around. And I flew into the living room and there's all these people in the house. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then there was Dolly. And I'm like, Dolly. And she's got people around her, all these kind of army guys. I'm like, well, she looks at me and kind of just says, I'm kind of busy through impressions. She didn't say it because a lot of communication out of body is very much just instant knowing. You don't even need words sometimes. Right. You can, but I'm like, okay. And I just kind of walked around looking at people because they were having this little powwow.
Yeah.
Finally, I just walked up to Dolly. I think we may have mentioned this last show or some show recently. And I'm like, Dolly, I need to verify that this is real. Say something. Say a word that I will absolutely remember. And you did. And I woke up and we verified it.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
It was about my battle buddy. He had passed away, and I had just been notified a few days before that. And they came, all my buddies who had passed away came to powwow with me, and they brought him with them. His name was Murphy. And so we were having a conclave, whatever. And I was trying really hard to get over losing them. So, wow. But yeah, I OBE at will. I can OBE anytime, even wide awake. I can sit down and relax, and I can pop out, and people think I'm looking at them. I'm not. I'm gone. I just leave the lights on. That's all, and I won't hear a word you say because I'm gone. And it's because I do it so often. I've been doing it my entire life, so it's really, really easy for me. Sometimes I'll just go and remote view anything I feel like. Sometimes, and I'll remote view my own house because we do have a regular door of people who walk through.
What's the longest OBE you've had? I'm curious.
The longest OBE, I don't know, because you can't really time it. Time is not the same when you're OBE, know?
I once had an OBE that I went to bed and I didn't fall asleep and I stayed awake all night. Yeah, well, I forgot some of it, but I was flying around. I'm like, oh my gosh, do I go back? I don't feel like I need to go back. Finally, morning came and I'm like, okay. And I kind of just went to my bed and laid down on it and woke up.
Yeah, that's about right.
Re-entered the body. So that only happened once so far, but man, that was cool. I was really good at it at that point. I was really clicking to it. Yeah. So yeah, you can have them during meditation, and there are people who are very advanced who can drive around and they'll be having them and talking to people. And you start to get so advanced you can actually essentially bilocate, which is really kind of what you already are doing.
Right.
But all right. Here is a unusual question, Dolly, from Johnny J2B. And he's asking, I saw a man's left eye pupil go vertical. 2 years later, I saw a different man do the same, but it was both eyes. What was that? Now, I know there's an app online that does that. And you see all these people on the news and their eyes go vertical, reptilian looking.
Yeah, but if you're in person and you see that, generally what that is you're probably talking to a hybrid, a tall gray hybrid. And they, in the corner of eyes, we have a vestigial schmutz in there. That's part of an eyelid, an inner eyelid that used to cross our eyes. Okay. And we genetically changed from it, but we still had the ability to do that. And it's still in our DNA. Grays have that still. And when that lid crosses their eye, it starts from the corner of their eye and goes across. And while you're watching it, you swear their eyes going vertical, because it takes you aback and you think you see it vertical, but it's not. It's just that lid, that inner lid going across their eye. And you're trying picturing it in your mind. You're trying to see it. It happens so fast. The thing moves, wildly quickly. And they have that inner eyelid still.
Interesting. I've never seen that. I've heard people report that, so I'm not sure what's going on, but there are ETs walking among us. I have no doubt of that. Yeah. Human looking largely.
Yeah.
As we would think of it, at least.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a question from, thank you guys for all these questions, from Sunny Burnett. Dolly or Preston, do you think anything will happen after the movie? I think this is the Spielberg movie. Disclosure Day opens? I do. I think people are going to lose their minds for a little bit, and then they're going to go back to watching their favorite football game or their favorite home improvement show or Survivor or American Idol or whatever they do.
Didn't he have trailers out already about that
Yeah.
movie? We saw the trailers, right?
Yeah, it looked a little bit horror, leaning towards horror.
Yeah, it upset
I don't
me.
want to say that
Like,
because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But it's a step towards bringing awareness to this subject. And I think we're now at the point where everyone pretty much on this planet knows what a UFO is.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Thanks to the ETs. Because people, I was talking with someone, they said, well, why don't the ETs just disclose? And my answer was actually the ETs' answer. We already have. They have. There's been a major wave of sightings.
Yeah, we all know the truth. They will not tell the truth. But that's, you should have figured that out by now too. So
I'm still waiting for the ultimate Close Encounter movie. Close Encounters of the Third Kind was a really good first introduction, but nobody went on board, really. Not that we got to see inside the craft. There's some good ones. I liked Cocoon. We just watched that not too long ago. That was a good movie. And again, it's kind of ended where I really hoped it would start.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that, and I don't think Disclosure Day is going to be that, but I'm thinking that this is just another step towards bringing awareness to this subject, and I'm hoping it's not more fear-mongering, because I just don't know that that's going to be helpful for us.
We get enough problems with fear on this planet by our own hands. We don't need to be in fear of those who would never harm us. So,
yeah. All right. Here's a good question from Louise. Question for Preston or Dolly. Is there a difference between remote viewing and OBEs? If so, please elaborate.
Okay. Yeah, there's a small difference. When I remote view, it's my consciousness is going out, but I'm still tethered to the body. I'm actually remoting my consciousness, and it's like being on my own little craft. People say that I show up as a blue orb, and which I didn't know that until it was pointed out to me, and then somebody pictured me when I was visiting one of our CE5 groups a long time ago, and they got me on film. It's like being in your own bubble, and you go wherever you want to go, and you see 360 all the way around you and everything. You can hear everything. You know what's going on. You can like mingle with people, and they don't even know you're there. And that's how it is. It's just your consciousness. You're not taking your entire astral body with you. You're just taking your consciousness. That's the difference. Astral body is different from your consciousness is part of your astral body, but it can go forward without the astral body. You can leave that back.
Yeah, I would just say it's a version, a sister or brother of the OBE experience. Right. It's a variation of it. Right. And actually in some ways more useful because you can really just kind of
you can't remote view in your sleep. You can OBE when you're totally relaxed and you let the body let your astral body loose. Okay, it unlocks and lets it out. When you remote view, you're lucid, 100% lucid. You know exactly what you're doing. You're in real time. You're still in the arrow of time, but you can go anywhere you want.
And I think it's a little bit more accessible to people because OBE, you really do need to learn how to relax and go through the process. Remote viewing is more of a sense of clearing your mind so you can actually perceive. Move beyond the racing thoughts that basically in some ways cloud our perception of reality.
Yeah, I use the ability to remote view to fly or pilot. I guess you pilot craft. I have to be able to do that because I have to remote in with the craft itself and join with the craft to fly. So,
all right. Oh my goodness! Look at all these questions. You guys are amazing.
Okay.
This is insane. Okay. Thank you, Louise. Good question. Next one is from Nick. My question is, I had a spontaneous OBE and was able to give directions to myself. Does she have them often? Dolly has OBEs pretty much nightly, don't you?
Yeah, every day. I can't help it. It's just it's a natural reflex for me. I'm so used to it all the time. It's just part of how I exist. And giving, you know how people
Direction.
think that they're having deja vu, they're or precog. That's your consciousness is talking to you, and that's how it feels to some people. Like your consciousness is trying to tell you something, and yeah, that can happen. I don't view it that way because I'm 100% on board with who I am, and I'm simulcasting consciousness to my brain at the same time. I've reached that ability level, and but yeah, you would at the at your younger level, of developing this attribute of yourself, it would feel like somebody's giving you advice. Yeah,
Yeah, I've certainly gotten that.
with your physical mind.
Yeah, I was out of body and I was trying to determine if I'm lucid dreaming or not. And
Yeah.
basically, there's a technique where you say, make all illusion go away. And I was kind of doing that. But I've learned that when you're out of body to be very precise, succinct, direct, and focused. And a spirit came up to me and said, just say this, all illusion end.
Yeah.
And that works really well. So that was directions. And you can go to little schools on the other side.
Yeah.
They'll teach you telekinesis or healing or all kinds of anything you want. That's pretty advanced, but I've done it a few times. So yeah, very cool stuff. Okay, let's get going. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of these questions. All right, thank you, Nick. That was fun. I'm going to unstar that. You guys are amazing. All right, here is Tomas. I'm not censoring these at all, so these are just popping up. Question: how to avoid focusing on the physical sense when trying to focus on the psychic equivalent? I want to start with this one because when you're trying to go OBE, the whole trick is relaxing, and you have to go through your whole body and pay attention to physically relaxing all your muscle groups. But at some point, that becomes counterproductive because you're paying attention to your body. You really want to turn 180 degrees and pay attention to what's within you, which is your thoughts. And ultimately, that's the trick. You have to learn to relax to the point where it doesn't become an issue anymore, and you can turn inward. I think that might be kind of where you're heading towards with this question. What do you think, Dolly?
Well, I want you to realize that you have a physical brain, and it's enclosed and it's in here, and then you have a pineal gland that's your transmitter and your receiver. Okay, you're already psychic. You were made to be psychic. It's already there. All you have to do is turn the volume up so you can hear it. And what you're looking for is to hear your consciousness talk to you first. Okay, once you can do that, once you hear yourself, your true self, you'll be able to hear everything else. And the only way you can achieve that is to relax to the point that your physical brain shuts up. We all have a running commentary in our physical mind all the time. When somebody's talking to you like I am now, you're already thinking something at the same time while you hear my voice. And what you have to learn to do is singularly let that go. Tell your physical mind, drop down. And you do that by relaxing your body first. And you get your brain waves to go into alpha. It's the blank chalkboard. And you see nothing and you feel nothing from your cranium. And you just wait for the signal to come through from consciousness. And it's not easy. It's going to take you a little while. You have to prepare your body for this in certain ways. You have to clean your food up, your water up. You need to be in a room where you feel 100% safe. You need to put all your phone away somewhere else, Faraday it, turn off your Wi-Fi. Do not have any disruptions coming at you when you're learning this. You need to be singularly able to feel safe enough to go down and have nothing touch you, bother you, or anything, and relax your whole body. And there's exercises for that. It's
here's
mental.
Astral Gooder is saying she's trying to OB every night. No success yet. Am I thinking too much about it?
Yes. Point blank, yes. Don't think about it. Learn to relax your body first. You're not just going to jump out of yourself. You have to let your body shut up. That means let it go down into nothingness, let your mind be quiet. Achieve that first. Get in contact with your own consciousness, because that's what's going to OBE with you is your true self. Okay. Your brain is going to listen to what's going on. You need to tell it to shut up so it can see and hear what's going on.
You just want to get to the point where you're completely relaxed and then let go. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And really intend and want and desire and imagine and focus. It takes persistence. That's really the biggest trick. Relaxing is also crucial, but don't expect to suddenly just fly out of your body. For most beginners, it happens passively. And by that, I mean, you're going to wake up and you're already out of body.
Right.
That's how it usually happens for beginners.
Is you've made the connection between your physical mind and your unconscious. You're in sync with yourself, and you're actually lucidly going out from your consciousness. And your brain.
Try to remember your dreams. I do have a little guide. You guys may have heard about it. It's a 2-page guide. Email me. There's my email below, prestonufo@gmail.com. I mail this out. Follow the instructions there. Email me back if you're having any issues, or let me know what stage you're at, and I will guide you through it. I've taught a lot of people how to do this, including family members, friends, co-workers even. I've taught classes on this at learning centers. You can do this. It's really about relaxation and persistence. So just keep at it. Every night, I really want to do this. And just intend. That's probably the best advice I can give. But yeah, email me and I'll send you a guide. All right. We have a lot of questions, Dolly. This is fun. I always get worried we're not going to get questions, and you guys always deliver. Okay. Thank you, Tomas, very much for that question. And Tomas has another awesome question. Tomas, question for you, Dolly. If the ship is conscious, why does it need pilots?
That's a really good question. It takes, we have.
It doesn't always. I mean, he can fly by himself, right?
Yeah, but it's not preferable, and there's reasons for that. It takes a pilot and a co-pilot. And then there's somebody else on another control in a regular airplane is doing, the vectoring and stuff like that, knowing where they're going. Jet pilots who are bombardiers, who are carrying bombs, a single pilot, he's got a million things going on in there, and he depends on a craft that can tell him what it's doing at all times, because the craft has to know what it does so that he can run it properly. And it's basically the same concept. This is an alive entity indwelling into a craft that's able to take the indwelling. It's artificially alive, and the co-pilot comes in and joins with the craft, and between the two of us, he's running all the systems on the craft. He's showing me with his own eyes everything around me 360, because he has those abilities. I do not. He's showing me temperature. He's showing me height, level, speed, everything. He's showing me like the controls on an aircraft. I get to see that through his mind. Okay. And then I'm the one that knows where we're going. I'm the one that decides how to gauge how we'll fly. I actually pilot through it. When we're going through a light gate, he takes over the controls of that mostly. He's creating the gate with me. I'm following right behind him mentally. And then the gate opens and I pilot through the gate, and then he shuts the gate behind me. If we're flying with a bunch of us all together, the first one through opens the gate and the last one through shuts the gate. We work in coordination with one another. It's incredible how this works. Between the two of us and every other support we have on that craft, we do a really good job of maintaining ourselves properly, not getting into trouble through light gates or even in atmospheres of planets that we go to, in magnetospheres. And he's like my watch bearer. Also, the ship knows when everything around me is coming at me while I'm focusing on flying. Okay. Even in conventional space, when we come in through a light gate, we're in conventional space for a few minutes, and there's all kinds of stuff up there that can hit the ship, and we're really slightly vulnerable to that. We have an inner core that protects us, and we have an outer core. And if something's dinging us on the outside, Talada will actually make adjustments before I can even think about it to avoid everything. He's my co-pilot. Okay. And then I know the mission and I know where I'm going. So I hope that helps.
It's very interesting. So there's only one pilot or two people flying it at one time because you've got.
I
Do
have
you have
two
a co-pilot?
myself, and no, I don't have any other co-pilots. The only people on the Bridge of Understanding or the deck of flight is
Place of movement. Yeah.
deck of movement. Yeah, deck of flight, deck of movement is I have two AI grays that are with me, and they pretty much are. When we're coming into atmosphere, I can't get out of my seat. I'll get zapped because I'm in a Faraday situation. Okay. So they can look out the window and be my eyes to the ground.
Is there gravity on the ship? Normal gravity?
It's not normal like you feel it or I feel it. Here it's less gravity. Actually, we're a little bit
That's
lighter.
what I recalled. It was a little floaty, but I wasn't floating.
Yeah. No, it's like you, but you have less gravity on craft. Yeah.
Oh. All right. Very cool. Moving along. This one's from Dr. Nils Rasmussen. My question for Preston. How did you amass your amazing collection of old UFO books? They're so rare and hard to find. Yes. I lived in LA at the time, which had probably 30 used bookstores. One by one, they shut down. But I would go there and I would just jump for joy when I found their UFO section, which almost always was really small. And I would clear it out. I felt bad because, I wanted to leave them for other people. But man, oh man, when I first found the first Travis Walton book, The Walton Experience, and the Betty and Barney Hill book, and the Betty Andreasen books, all the books by Jim and Coral Lorenzen, the Donald Kehoe books. Then there was this other book service called Arcturus Book Service, and they collected UFO books and sold them for cheap. So I started buying them there, and this went on for years. So I've been at this for 40 years, getting these books. And I would buy any book, even if it was terrible.
They have some really good book stores in LA. Preston took me to one of them. It's huge, and it's all used books. And the amount of stuff that they have in there is absolutely blow your mind. And I think they're still there. Where is it? You remember what street it was on?
It was like Chandler.
Yeah.
It's on Chandler towards Burbank. It's funny. I knew I hit this kind of interesting plateau when I went to a bookstore and there was my book there. I'm like, okay, I think that I've found all the books I'm going to be finding for a while. But every now and then I still find a gem. But you can go online now. There's all kinds of book services, Alibris books, Abe books, rare book finding services, and you can get pretty much any book out there you want.
Right.
Very cool. This was before the internet. So yeah, that was all kinds of fun. I spent a lot of money on books back then, and I didn't have the money. I'm living check to check and building a Visa debt like nobody.
He also subscribed to every kind of UFO magazine there was, and then he started writing articles for them, so they'd send him stuff. We have an extra room in the house, and it's all research stuff. It will blow your mind. Moving here was quite the thing because we had to go back through everything, and it took weeks.
We're still taking weeks. Are you kidding? We're still on bug.
No, it's nuts. But yeah.
Oh, and when Bill Hamilton III, major researcher, is like, I'm getting rid of all my MUFON journals. Do you want them? I'm like, are you kidding? Of course I do. I already have most of them. He's like, that's all right. I need a good home for them. And every now and then I get contacted by researchers who are like, do you want some of my books? I'm like, yeah. All right. Here's a good question from Nick. Thanks, Nils. I saw a spirit manifest. Has Dolly or Preston seen a spirit? Has Dolly seen a spirit? Yes, she's got mediumistic abilities. So basically, it's a daily thing for Dolly.
Yeah. If you're anywhere around me, I will see you. It's my own father. After he passed away, he was still in the house with us for a little while. He hung out, and he moved things around, and he turned a light on that had never worked in my house ever. For my mom, he turned it on 3 times and off 3 times. Blew my mind. And I saw a full figure before he left, and he waved at me and he said, I'm going walkabout now. And that was, he told me he was going to go on the adventure of existence, and I would see him later. And I did. I have. He comes to me every now and then. But yeah, I see people all the time. If you've just passed and you're in my vicinity, somehow People show up here. If I'm visiting people that they're related to who are still hanging out or, with them somehow, I'll see them too. And I can't help it. Every now and then somebody would call me and ask me for help. I used to do that. And I worked with the police department once a couple times. And now it's just word of mouth that I will do it. It got to be really hard on me because our world has gotten a little bit harder every year. And now things are just, and so I hang back from it unless it's an absolute emergency. I hang back from it because it's overwhelming.
I saw my mother's spirit shortly after she died. I've been to a table tipping session with a professional medium who could do physical mediumship. That was really interesting. And occasionally I'll see little shadows. If you sit down and meditate with your eyes open and really relax, you can start to peer into the fourth dimension. It's kind of like remote viewing. You can see the spirits.
Yep.
Cherie says, the Bodhi Tree. I love that bookstore. It's closed down. I spoke there once. It was so cool. I'd go in there and smell the incense. I'd be like, okay, I'm home. They had a big used book section. I loved that place. And yeah, someone says, do you still have all those books? That was Texas Cacti. Yes, I do. And I still read them. I've read all the books I have probably 2 or 3 times at least.
Yeah.
Yes, Christine, the Bodhi Tree is closed. I cried. I've actually cried.
And you did.
Aurora County, the table tipping session, they let you on Real Housewives of New Jersey? No, but I did get on the Kardashians, believe it or not. They wanted to call down UFOs and wanted some advice.
One actually came down.
Yep. Okay, next one. Oh, no, wait. Guess what? It's the top of the hour.
Goodness. Okay.
So we are doing a book giveaway, Undersea UFO Base. This is a 10 years long research project into UFO and USO, unidentified submersible objects, off the Santa Catalina coast, and asking the question, could there be an undersea base? Which ultimately Dolly says, no, there's not. And I figured out people are probably being taken into large craft. They're underwater and they're looking outside. They see ocean. They're thinking maybe it's a base. I don't know. But amazing.
It's an ancient Indian native, dwelling there.
Yeah, there's the Malibu anomaly. I go into that.
When the Earth tipped the last time, and so it's underwater right now. It's coming back. When our Earth tips again, it'll come back up.
But this is the book I'm giving away. It was mentioned by Admiral Tim Gallaudet of Congress. How cool is that in the congressional hearings? So it's gotten some really awesome publicity. And how we're going to do this is the way we always do this. I've picked a number between 1 and 1,000. I know that's a lot of numbers, but whoever gets closest or gets on the money gets a book. There are 3 winners. More than 3 people guess the actual number, you will all get a book.
That's right.
Yeah, we're limiting it to 3. So guess your number between 1 and 1,000. 1 guess only. I'm going to say that 3 times. 1 guess only. Everyone only gets 1 guess, just so you know. And the contest closes at 10 minutes before the top of the hour and goes from there. All right, Dolly. Now I'm going to put you on the spot and have you answer this next question. And while I try to field these 100 responses. Okay.
All right.
Hold on a second. Let me get rid of Louise's question. Nick Brown is saying, I left my body 2 nights ago. Are Pleiadians real? I felt they were talking to me. And if you don't have enough response for that, let me know and I'll pop up another one. Meanwhile, I'm going to start fielding all these numbers. Look at you guys go. Oh my God.
Right. Well, I'm going to break it to you gently. Please understand that I cannot lie to you about anything where ET is concerned, and I want you to understand something. So let's go to the Pleiades star system first. The Pleiades is outside of our galaxy, our galaxy. It's coming in at us, but we can see it in our skies because it's very close to us. And at certain times of the year, we see it better than others, because we're revolving and it's everything going around. The Pleiades is a torn apart galaxy itself. It's a remnant. And it has 7 or more very, very such large suns in it that the magnetism in the Pleiades is so large that nothing is alive there. Absolute zero, no life. It produces enough gamma radiation to burn us to cinders in a second. Nothing is there. Now, what's behind the Pleiades as the crow flies, if you're seeing the Pleiades, okay, the seven sisters, and you imagine going straight through them and straight back of that, what's behind that is another galaxy. And it is another galaxy that on Earth, you can't really see it. So if somebody's trying to tell you where they're from, if an ET came down years and years and years and years and years ago and pointed there toward the Pleiades, they're not pointing at the Pleiades per se. They were pointing at what was behind it, and it is the Delphi system. Okay, and there is a system there that is full of life. One of the worlds is a water world, mostly water, very little land and a lot of water. And so humans who don't have astronomy knowledge way back when, hundreds, thousands of years ago, could not understand what they meant. They just knew that it was the Pleiades. And so people say, they learn to say, well, I'm Pleiadian. Actually, you're not. Your DNA or your starseed DNA comes from the Delphi system. That's what it is. And they really don't have a name for themselves. They're people, they're water people. Dolphins didn't come into existence all by themselves, and they're not exactly like them. They live in the water, but they have arms and legs like we do. They're just different, and they're used to swimming and being in the water all the time. Now, the people that live on the land look like they're Asian, Polynesian, Asian, Southeast Asian. And so that's what we're talking about.
It's interesting because I traced that back. I'm like, when did people start talking about Pleiadians? Barbara Marciniak, Bringers of the Dawn, was an early one. Of course, Billy Meyer of Switzerland, I believe it is. Yeah. Turns out that he changed it. They called themselves the Pleiadians. Pleiadians. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. We always label ETs under our own label, and I think sometimes ETs will allow that, and not try to correct a person, right. But because people say, they're Zeta Reticulans, but ETs don't call themselves these things. They don't identify themselves by the name of their star system, as near as I can tell.
Well, what I do know is, in the iteration before this iteration, this 12,000 years before this 12,000, before that, Atlantis really did exist, and they did refer to themselves. People call them but they're from the Delphi system, and people call themselves we call them Lemurians, not thinking about what we're saying. Okay, and everybody's trying to explain everything without 100% knowledge of what they're talking about, and so Lemurians are actually in that system. What you would think of as a Lemurian would come from there, because it's the Asiatic look, okay, the Hawaiian lineages, and Tokyo, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Southeast, Denisenovian, all of that. That's coming back from that system. That's behind the Pleiades. So,
all right. I'm going to pop up another question. I'm not going to put it on the screen because it says someone's name there, and I don't want to put that on there. It's from Nick Browning, and says, I had an attack from a negative entity. Does Dolly acknowledge self-serving or negative beings?
Yeah, it's us after we go and we don't want to leave, and we're idiots. And we're so full of hate and anger and everything else that we just don't leave. And they're as negative as they could be. And the longer they're like that, the worse it gets. And so, yeah, I know very well that exists. And you all refer to them like demons, bad spirits. And it's because they're not going on, and they're not coming to grips with who they were and what they did. And they refuse to leave here because they're afraid of what's in front of them if they leave. So, yeah, there are negative influences here, and it's all us. Okay.
We are negative here on this planet, and we're ETs to everyone else out there. And there are other people who are our level of evolution, not traveling to other star systems, who are negative. As far as ETs, are ETs negative? I've talked to people who've had the same exact experience and once said, gosh, these were awful beings. I hated them. They were evil. They had no feelings. I wish this had never happened to me. I didn't ask for this. And another person had the same experience and said, I felt no fear. I thought it was awesome. So what's going on here?
You know, and if you're walking around with preconceived ideas and you come across ET, you are not going to respond well if your perception is negative already. Fear you'll
have a negative experience causes you to
respond
as a negative entity.
We do it all the time here. As a nurse, you work in ER trauma. I've had people spit on me, scratch me, attack me, hit me, bite me, you name it, because they are terrified of what we represent, what we're going to do to them. And they can't seem to get past that fear. And we have to medicate them to calm them down. Sometimes you get somebody coming in and they're on drugs and, angel dust was a nightmare for me back in the day because these people were 10 times stronger than they were normal on that stuff. And they could do damage. And all they had to do was wait 5 minutes and just cognitively let us explain what was happening to them and why it had to happen and blah, 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 blah. And they might have been 10 times better off. So when you meet an ET, if you're already thinking they're going to be a demon, you're going to see them as one. If you're already thinking that they're here to eat you, dice you up and slice you up, you're going to think that that's what's coming at you.
If you wake up on board a UFO and you're thrashing around and you're in panic and these guys are the little grays who aren't particularly emotional, this is going to be a negative experience. People do have what they perceive to be and probably are for them negative experiences. I would never in a million years gaslight a witness and say, well, this was good for you. If it wasn't. But if you look at the totality of cases, you can see that ETs are not coming here to hurt people.
Right.
There are reports of human, I'm not going to use that word, I'll call it mutes. That's human agents. I looked into them. There's about 10 or 20 of them. I don't think that's ETs doing it. There are my labs, and some of these are truly horrific experiences. And here's the thing. Contactees are particularly vulnerable to being targeted by military agents bent on turning you to the dark side. So this is a very muddy water here. It's very controversial because there are people I've talked to who are full-on contactees that said, I didn't ask for this. I feel violated. I understand that. Wholly understand that. And I know people who've ended their encounters. They didn't want it anymore. They said, that's enough, never come back. And it worked. And others it didn't work for. And I dug deep and like, is there any part of you that really wants to have an encounter at all? And they're like, well, yeah, there's part of me that's curious about this. There's a guy in England. He doesn't like it at all. He doesn't think they're demonic. He just thinks that they don't respect him. His encounters have stopped, interestingly, since when Dolly said they left. He's like, I kind of miss them now. How weird is that?
Yeah.
I kind of get that because we compartmentalize. Right. What I'm trying to say is it's not just cut and dry. A lot of the negativity is because it's not good for a person to be traumatized and have this fear and try to, it's very difficult. Contact can be very difficult for people, but there's a lot to unpack with this. I'd have to write a whole book on explaining why I think that ultimately it's good news for us. And I'll just put it in a nutshell. The sequence of events that happen to a person when they're taken on board include being physically examined. It's a checkup, often healed, given a tour of the craft, shown outside the craft, taken to the engine room, given warnings, messages, all things that are ultimately not malevolent. But when someone's on a table and they're being, poked at and prodded and they're not liking it, I have 100% empathy and sympathy for you. And I'm so sorry this happened to you if this was not something you enjoyed. And I can see why you wouldn't enjoy it. So it's not cut and dry by any means. There's a whole bell curve of how people react and the experiences they have, frankly. Because I've talked to people who've been taken on board and they weren't physically examined. And it was all, puppies and rainbows, honestly. But that's pretty rare.
Yeah, I have advice for that. When ET comes back and they open the door and they say everybody needs to get on, don't respond right away. I mean, you have minutes, but take a good look at what you're looking at. If you see somebody like me outside the door saying, get on now, we're going. And believe me, the situation at that time will have you 100% convinced that you better, remember that your very existence depends on them at that moment, because they're there to rescue you when they do come back, and you need to go. Otherwise, you're facing something
Dr.
else.
Mills is asking about the Devil's Den case with Terry Lovelace. I was talking to you about him, Dolly. He's a genuine contactee it started out all fine, and then he was in the military, and then he went to Devil's Den and had this really horrific experience.
Hmm.
Again, this is such a delicate area. I honestly think that was a MyLab, having read his book and talked to him. But I don't really like to go there and tell a person, well, this is what I think it is, because it's their experience.
It's
not my experience. But
the observer
must,
the observer must awaken. Yeah.
It's a very delicate thing. Becky, fear is one of my biggest memories. It can be very hard for people. It's funny, as little kids, sometimes it's not often. And then we get into our adulthood, it starts to get really scary, and then you're middle-aged and getting used to it, and it starts to come around like, oh, maybe they're not trying to hurt me. Okay, I'm gonna give another shout out. Book giveaway, one guess only, number between 1 and 1,000. Got some really good guesses. Looks like we have some winners already, but there's still time. And if you guess the winning number, you'll get a book, period. One guess only, and we'll be announcing the winner in about 30 minutes or so. All right. Going to the next question. We have like 50. And here's a good one from Charlie. And I do hear this a lot. Why do people smell sulfur in these UFO encounters? It comes up in case after case. Virginia is certainly one. That's a controversial case, but I hear it from people periodically. What do you think, Dolly?
I would question whether that's a real craft or if it's back engineered. If you're smelling sulfur, it comes from here. ET doesn't smell like that when they crash at all. It's totally different.
Well, what about the ET beings themselves?
Oh, well, you remember they don't take actual baths when they're working. Okay, they use light showers and stuff like that to keep all the microbes off them, and they wear jumpsuits. And when they don't take our atmosphere really well, so when you see them, especially the little ETs, they can handle the pressure here and the air here better than the others because they're made to. All right, and they haven't got the same physical process that we do. So yeah, they can be quite fragrant.
Yeah, because I certainly do hear that. And I think sometimes, often what people are smelling is ozone, which can be a very powerful odor. Not like after a fresh
smell in the atmosphere. Yep, you smell ozone, but that doesn't smell like sulfur. Ozone and sulfur don't come close. So
no, but it can be a very powerful stench. And it's not like a fresh rain, because rain, you can smell ozone. This is when a ship is in the area and it's emitting enormous amounts of electricity. It can create ozone.
It's a smell burnt area.
Yeah, and it's a powerful and somewhat unpleasant odor. So I think sometimes that's what people
are burning up. That's what that smell is. Okay.
So yeah, I did a whole chapter on my Not From Here books, the smell of UFOs and ETs, because it does turn up. And people describe going into the UFO and they're like, gosh, it's kind of a cheesy smell. It smells like a little bit like a locker room, stuffy.
It's heady.
Organic odors. People will smell that, which points to these being organic beings.
We smell like that sometimes too. When I was in the military, when you're on a transport bus and you got 40 Rangers on the bus with you and they've been out in the field for 2 weeks, some of them a whole month, they're working, and they get on that bus to come back. Let me tell you something, it stinks. And it comes close to what you can smell around ET sometimes. Yeah,
it's funny because Whitley Strieber said they kind of had a cinnamon smell or like wet cardboard, and he had someone he talked to, Raven Dana, who had an encounter. He said they almost had a woodsy smell.
Yes. Yep.
And another lady said, they kind of smelled woodsy. Same darn word. So I thought that was interesting.
That would be the AIs.
They don't. I guess they don't.
Yeah.
They don't wear deodorant, huh?
No. No. A la natural. It's,
All right.
yeah.
Earth, water, wind. Is there really an alien revelation coming this Easter? I think Chris
No.
Bledsoe talked about this. Every day is a revelation. It's up to us. No, I'm always
Unless the
skeptical
government
of.
reports it. They're going to drop a false flag on y'all. I want you to understand that when you hear anything, anytime like right now, it's all coming from the government. You need to take
I'm
3
worried
steps
about it.
back and calmly think about what just got said. All right. My advice to you is if they tell you to run for the city, turn your butt around and go the other way. If you've prepped and you're ready for something bad to happen, do what your prep tells you to do. You survive on your own. Take care of yourself. Do not obey them because it won't be good for you if you do. Okay. You gotta
Yes,
say it.
bring them some patchouli.
Mhm.
Jay Truth Seeker. Devil's Den did not involve real aliens. Yeah, well, we'll see. Terry Lovelace is a wonderful man. I really enjoyed speaking with him. Okay, Charlie is getting in a lot of questions. How do we communicate with lights to UFOs? Can we
Do
use
not.
Morse code or
No.
different colors?
No, don't point any laser at a UFO.
He didn't say laser. He just said lights.
I don't care.
Flashlight.
A flashlight from the ground. If you have a flashlight from the ground, just go on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, and wait. But you're not going to get in touch with one now. They are not here. Don't even try because you might be bringing something you don't want to bring to you, like a back engineered UFO going, what the heck's that guy doing? Okay. They might let you have it. Just don't. They're not.
That's what a guy from Europe told me when I sent him his chapter in my book, Humanoids and High Strangers. He says, you need to add this. The ETs told me that CE5s are absolutely, you need a warning here because the government will come down and mess with you.
My C5 groups are disbanded. Stop. Don't do it.
You can communicate with ET now.
Psychically.
Telepathically.
Yes.
And absolutely it's something you can do. Meditation is the key. Okay. Which brings us to the next question, actually. How can one who is regularly in telepathic contact with ET think about difficult things privately? How can one do shadow work in a way that is sovereign and private respectfully?
Okay,
I'm not sure what shadow work is, but
I know what shadow work is. Stop it. It is shadows. Nothing ET does is in the shadows. It's in perfect light. Do not do shadow work.
Privacy is an illusion. We are all aware of each other on a very basic level. And you start to learn this when you go astral, because you can start to really connect. People who are profoundly psychic absolutely sense what other people are thinking. Yes. Always aware of this. And ETs are 100% that way. So yes, they know what you're thinking. Of course they do. We are a telepathic race. All beings are telepathic. Animals are telepathic. It's the way we're supposed to be. So don't worry about privacy, because privacy is an illusion. And we should be at a moral and ethical level where we can share every single thought that goes through our brains. That's what I think we should aim for.
Yep.
Okay. Oh my goodness, Charlie, some of your questions. Can people bring bullets on board a UFO? Or will electronic fields cause them to fire?
No, you couldn't get in. You wouldn't get in a craft. You would be stopped, and it would be dropped to the ground, and you would come without it. You're not allowed. They don't allow it. Period. No.
That's so interesting, because a guy in Russia, I think it was, had a gun, and he woke up outside the craft, and all the bullets were gone. So.
Yeah, well, the guy can take on electromagnetic radiation easily. Anything metal can do that. And you don't want something like that slinging around on a craft. You just don't, because it would hit walls and stuff. It would be just attracted to the walls or attracted to the outside of the craft. It wouldn't make it on with you. It would be torn out of your hands. So don't even try, or pull out of your hands.
Let's jump back to the odor subject, because Chris Teen is asking, if they and their ship smell pungent, why do they disinfect us?
Why don't they disinfect their ships?
Why do they?
They are germaphobes. Are you kidding me? But they're used to their germs, not ours.
Why are they disinfecting us if they're so smelly themselves?
Because we have germs and viruses that we created on this planet that they're really not okay about. And they want you to be clean of it before they touch you. If you have a cold, you're not going on board. If you have anything that is transmittable, you're not going on board. You will only be taken on minus that. Okay. And if you do go on board, if they think they need to heal you from something that's really bad, they will isolate you and you won't be able to get your germs to them until they cure you. So.
All right. Dr. Nils Rasmussen, thank you. My second question, might it be possible that modern humans are hybrids of alien and Bigfoot DNA?
Well, I wouldn't call Bigfoot our relative, but I would call Denisovans and Neanderthals, Anunnaki, and a few others. And yes, them, they are our progenitors. We are related to them. Absolutely. We are all hybrids on this planet from them.
Yeah, I mean, all entities have DNA. They're the humanoid form is the universal template. So in a way, we're all related. ETs have said this over and over again.
Right.
I don't know that anyone who's ever had their genetic charts done has ever come up with DNA, but some people do have, like, what, Cro-Magnon in them and Neanderthal. It does come up. But I think ultimately we are all what we would call hybrids.
Right.
It's so interesting. DNA is so much more complicated than people realize. There's so much to learn from it. But no, I don't think that humans are half alien, half Bigfoot. Be a really interesting.
Genetically, we know that we are very related to bonobos. Look up what bonobos are and how they act, what their societies are like. They look like little gorillas. They're South American animals, not African, and they're delightful little creatures. They can get as tall as like 3.5 feet tall, 4 feet, and they have families. They're monogamous. They love their children. They're sweet to one another. It's incredible. These creatures, they're very sentient. And they have almost 99% of our DNA we share with them. 99%. That's high. More than a chimpanzee. We're related to them. So
Leah, we're going back to this detox thing. If you're going to work with them, do you have to detox and do other preparations before going with them?
Preston knows that I am bathed constantly. I am always ready to go. Okay. I wash a lot. I make sure that I'm absolutely clean. Before I go aboard, and I'm still put through the light shower, and my clothes are taken from me, and sometimes I don't get them back. There might be something on them that's really bad, and I won't get those back. I'm coming home in something else.
I know Sisto Paz Wells would do contact groups, and he's like, I want you all to meditate. We're going to abstain from certain foods, sugary foods, and so forth to help clear your body and mind in preparation for contact.
Right.
I think there's something to that.
Yep.
But
I will leave it fast. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nils. Let's see, we're moving to flea market gold. Question: what are the best tips or techniques to ground and protect yourself when either having non-human intelligence contact or astral adventures?
You don't need protecting, but what you could do, and I want you to consider this, is pre-batch your brain to deal with whatever situation you're in. And the first thing you should do is become a very good observer. Know where you are, what's going around you at all times. If you're met by somebody you don't know who they are, what they are, or why they are, you need to learn to take a step back and start looking at who they are. Listen to what they say. Realize what your situation really is. Memorize what's happening to you. And if you're communicated with, ask questions. Don't become so afraid that you can't get it out of your brain or your mouth to them. Who are you? Why am I here? Ask who, what, where, and when, and why, and expect answers from them. I can't tell you how many times on board that we've had people come up and they're just like this because they can't. I mean, their eyes are shifting around, but they're just rock solid. Some people actually shake, and I'm like, calm down.
Yeah, a great technique would be just to learn to overcome fear.
Right. Well, observation does that. If you put everything, if you know everything that is knowable in any situation you're in, you're not going to be afraid. You're going to become curious. And
remember, ETs have been around forever.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
That's not why they're here. And as far as astral projection, you're doing it already. You're doing this.
Right.
It's as safe as sleeping because it is sleeping.
Right.
So yeah, you might experience hostile entities. You probably already are. And, some nightmares might be that.
Yeah.
But you can always just rush back to your body. It's no problem.
Put in our heads. You
Fear
can't
will attract negative entities.
against your will. Your soul can't be taken from you, and no soul can indwell your body. Okay, no soul can indwell your body. You cannot be indwelled ever. If a demon wants your head, he's going to mess with your brains, not your body, and he can't touch your soul at all. He's going to say things to you psychically and get inside your head.
Just recognize your own power. You have the power within you to not allow anything into your space that you don't want there.
Yeah.
You have
only you
power,
have the
ultimate say.
Right. You're safe.
All right. Shout out for Luigi Venatelli and Bob Lazar's documentary release coming out April 3rd, entitled S4, The Bob Lazar Story.
Yay! Finally! Yay!
I
April
am
3rd.
so excited to see this.
Yeah.
I support Bob Lazar. I think he's legit for a number of reasons.
Absolutely.
Dolly certainly does, because she says he's saying things that only he could know if you've actually seen a craft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be. I don't often endorse documentaries, and I can't say I endorse this one yet because I haven't seen it. But I am so excited to see it because I think it's going to be a good one, and I am absolutely waiting on this one with bated breath.
Okay.
Very, very cool. Thank you, Foggy Notions podcast. I cannot wait to see that one. Yeah. Okay. Charlie with another interesting and slightly odd question. All questions are fair, so I'm putting it up. Do aliens disguise themselves as men in black to recover bodies and materials? I think that's government agents, personally.
No.
I've never had the so-called alien men in black account. In all the hundreds of people I've interviewed, I've never had that. Government agents, yes. One guy did, I should say, and he was my lab, and he admits it. They hypnotized him, they drugged him, the whole deal. So I'm wondering if maybe that's what's going on with some of these.
The only reason that they hang back and watch the situation is if they got a craft that's damaged and the entity indwelling is still on board, they will come back for the entity. They will give the entity a chance to join with them and get the heck out. They don't fear being back engineered from their crutches because nobody has the technology here to even come close to replicating what they have. We're approximating things. It's like the Flintstones with feet running on the ground, with the rollers. You can't, they don't have the technology, and you're not going to in your lifetime. They're not going to. So that's not what they're afraid of. They want the entity off the craft, and the entity has to transfer to another craft so that it can get out of here, because it can't come in out of the third dimension from where they're from without being on craft. So that's what they're there for. They come in, they make contact with the entity, they get them off, and they take them back with them. Okay.
I do believe Bob Lazar. Where can we find that show this week? Oh, I'm sure it'll be up.
Foggy Notions, where can we find it?
You can Google it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Foggy Notions, maybe he can let us know.
Yeah.
It is weird, the men in black, because they do show up, and if you got photographs, if you got pieces of metal or anything, these guys show up, and I think they're government agents.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's an interesting question. Is Sasquatch known to engage in energy healing that humans do for others? I have heard this. I was talking to a lady the other day who said that, yeah, they do healing. Doesn't surprise me. I can't say I've had a personal account of that or really even read it. So I couldn't really answer that. So I don't know. Charlie is popping in these questions. Does time move differently from the upper decks of a UFO than the lower decks?
No. When you go interdimensional, there is no time. You leave the arrow of time, the third dimensional aspect of it. It's different, and it's all the same throughout the craft.
All right, Jay Truthseeker. I've known Sasquatches to do healings. Oh, very cool. Okay. Dolly and Preston time. Happy days are here. I can feel my implants smiling. Okay, I'm giving the last shout out. Last time to get your guess in, 1 in 1,000, one guess only, and you win a free book. undersea UFO base. Got a bunch of guesses, and we're about to give the announcement of that. But for those who haven't heard it, yep, book giveaway contest, 3 winners, 1 guess only. Number between 1 and 1,000. All right. Here we go with our next. Oh, I'm getting some more guesses. Thank you. All righty, ready. Let's see here. Oh, this is not a question, but Kevin is giving a wonderful compliment. Thank you so much. That's very nice. Okay.
You all don't. I'm going to say this. I get to say this. I know how hard he works. He's in that chair 14 hours a day, working his brains out. And if he has to get up and go somewhere to do something with it, he does. He's on the phone making contacts. He's searching everything that he can possibly find to verify, validate, and validate stories. He goes the extra mile everywhere
I look for the original source because people. It's amazing to me. I'll get a clue on a case. I'm like, gosh, this sounds like a good one. And then I'll find the original source, and it's misprinted all over the place. I'm like, well, there weren't one UFO. There was 3. There were witnesses. Here's the person's real name, and it's just a lot of fun.
He leaves the house because I've drug him out of the house. Okay, so yeah.
All right. Charlie's asking, what questions won't the ETs answer? I had one guy ask about politics and religion, and they said we won't talk about that. But generally, they'll answer your questions, and pretty much all of them, right, Dolly?
Yeah, they if you're able to understand what they would say, they'll give it to you. Some answers are too complicated to explain to people because you don't have the knowledge base for it. So they'll try to work with you on how to understand why that is. Okay. And they'll give you as much as they can. They pretty much answer everything, but they don't have religion. They don't have politics. And they're not, why would they talk about it with you? It doesn't exist for them. So.
Okay. Someone sings. Gosh, you both have birthdays coming up.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome for us to support the best way we can. Thank you all.
Oh,
this is the best way right now, Leo. Much love. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
If you're taken, can you say I don't consent? Yes.
Yes, you can, and you will be put back, and they won't bother you again. Talking about birthdays, you want to hear something funny? Preston is the 6th. Our producer, Michelle DeRoche, is the 7th, and I'm the 8th. It's like all the way around. It's birthdays everywhere. And we know so many people were like right on our birthdays or right close to us. It's like they're tourists everywhere. It's funny. A lot of cold winter is bad. Okay.
Okay. We have 50 questions in like 15 minutes. So let's try. Charlie, what is that dye that glows under blacklight on experiencers? That does turn up. What is that? People fluoresce sometimes.
Yeah, they fluoresce.
After an encounter.
There are materials on board that just by being there and touching it, you rub it all over your body. You're picking up minerals that is in their environment and that they breathe. And it's just everywhere. So yeah, you can fluoresce after being with them. It's just minerals, that's all.
What's the material? Anything you can talk about?
Nope. Sorry. I gave you a good clue.
I thought you were talking around that a little bit. Okay. Oh, you guys are so nice.
Look at what fluorescence is. What causes the sea to fluoresce? Okay? That'll surprise you. Okay.
Foggy Notions. Are you both as excited as I am for the Bob Lazar story to release? Yes.
Yes. So when how will we see it, Foggy Notions? On what channel? What? Is it YouTube?
It's going to be all over the place. You can find it. No problem, I'm sure. Okay. Charlie, why are UFOs seen near nuclear sites? I think there's multiple reasons. One is they're just checking them out. Is it safe? Another is the Malmstrom incident. March 1967, they shut down the intercontinental ballistic missiles as a clear warning, as a clear message. Like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. There's nothing nuclear that they have not visited.
Yeah.
So they're very concerned about it. Let's face it, nuclear material, we're messing with fire, literally. I mean, I don't like it. I think it's madness. That's why. What do you say, Dolly?
Well, we've had plenty of instances in the past where nuclear power plants have had catastrophic results because of nature or stupidity. Okay. Nothing lasts forever. Everything decapitates on this planet. And they kind of observe how well they're holding up and they keep an eye on that. And they've been known to try to warn them that they have an accident about to happen. And we pretty much turn into fire. We don't realize we're being warned about it. And yes, they will turn a plant down, demonstrated to us how serious this all is. And it scared the heck out of them because they lost the ability to launch. Okay. And they realized that during that loss of it, what are those rods doing? Are we starting a nuclear reaction now because, we're going to blow? And it terrified them, and nothing really happened. The rods didn't overheat or anything, and they turned them back on, but they gave them a good look into what that meant to humanity if they did. And now you understand that we have nuclear plants all over this country. We use nuclear in everything. It's building up every day, every day, every day. And there's a day coming where that's going to be a problem, a real problem. And don't let anybody tell you it's not. If we have a CME and our grid goes down, those are dangerous to everybody. Okay, so I'm saying
they're very concerned, and it causes all kinds of problems that we're not even aware of. Okay, here's an interesting question from somebody whose name I can't pronounce. So you can see it there. Looks like it might be Chinese or Japanese. I don't know.
I think, or no, not Japanese. It's
Well, you can let us know.
Might be
That
Korean.
means
Okay.
14.
Yeah.
At any rate, what means of exchange, I think communication, is used in intergalactic trades planet to planet? Do they have an ultra internet where you can connect with multiple civilizations and connect to one another for love and entertainment? No, they are telepathic. All communication is done telepathically. Everything is done through cooperation. There is no money. It's not a federalized government. Their technology is psychically based. I think that would be the best way to put it in a nutshell.
They've gone past all of that, and they've figured everything out. And there's no galactic federation. There's no government. No, none of that. They're all wide open psychic, and they can hear each other through the vastness of this universe. They're universal, not galactic. Universal.
We're going to go fast through these.
Okay.
So Foggy Notion says it's on Amazon Prime.
Thank you.
That was our story, S4.
I'm going to go look for it tonight. I'm going to post it for everybody. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Foggy Notion. Okay.
Let's see. I've got to unstart some of these questions because they are coming so fast.
Okay.
Here. Good question, Charlie. You're really giving some good ones. What allows the increased telepathy around ETs? Is it the psychic ability of the ETs? Is it the fields on the UFO itself?
It's you. Okay. When your mama's talking and you're a baby and you can feel her and you kind of know what she's saying. They know that babies understand their mothers already by the time they make it out of the womb because they're pre-batched for it. They can hear everything on the other side, but it's your psychic ability working at the same time. Babies are very, very, very psychic, and they don't need to be taught. They already know. Okay. Your abilities are there. It's like your mama is talking to you. When ET goes, hey, how you doing? And you hear it, it's mama talking to you. You just automatically know. You wake up, you turn the volume up. Your consciousness is absolutely listening to you. And so is your forebrain, pineal gland is transmitted straight into your cranium. You are listening, and it's a clear signal to you. A lot of people here don't realize that you transmit your thoughts all the time. Okay. But everybody's got the volume down and they're not picking up on it. When ET clearly speaks to you, you go, oh, and you can speak back to that because you're on that channel with them. And it's actually give and take with them. It's nobody doing it to you. You're doing it. You are doing it. Turn the volume
I
up.
agree. And think of it this way. When you're around a group of people who are negative and stealing and doing all things, you kind of go to that level. When you're around people who are absolutely wonderful and giving and psychic, you start to go to that level. So the company you keep is a big part of what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a natural human ability. And when everyone's around you is doing it, you start clicking to it.
Yeah.
Leah's asking, how does Charlie get all the questions, even though they are great? I'm going in line, Leah.
You could have asked the question right there. Yeah.
So, thank you, Leah. Okay, Mike Slap. Have you ever traveled back in time on a craft? Yes, we talked about this in Symmetry, the book on her case.
Back to 1914, and they took me back to a relative of mine, which is easier for me to understand, and it was in Sweden, and I'm related to Carl Larson. He's a relative of mine way back, and I went to a birthday party, and I was pre-taught how to act there because I'm not fully in dimensional space with them. I'm just hanging outside of it, okay? And anything I touch, I can't really interact with them and have it disturb them. They see me, they know I'm there, and they think that I should be there. They don't realize that I'm just interacting with them. I was afraid to touch the ground. I was sitting at a table, and I kept my foot on the bed, my knees tucked up underneath me. And I didn't eat, I didn't drink, I didn't do anything. I just was very happy to just be there listening to everybody. Every now and then somebody would say something to me and I could understand them. I speak Swedish. And so I would respond, but nothing interpretive or that could jolt the situation for what it really was. And because for me, I was actually there and it was happening in real time. For them, I was just in it as an outsider, just extra dimensionally there, but they could see me.
Yeah,
was
the
very
past does no longer exist, so you
Right.
can go back, but you're an observer essentially.
record playing and you're hearing it and you're singing to the music. It's the same premise, only it's life. And my relative Carl Larson was painting that day, and he was drawing us during the party. He was doing stills of us on paper, and then he made his hold still and he flipped it and he did it each of us individually, and then he did the whole scene of us at the table.
Yeah.
And
that was 1917 or 1907.
Right. Yeah, way back when.
So
Yeah.
that's before Dolly was born.
Yeah.
Crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's a very complex subject. They can pull people out of the timeline, put you right back in seconds later. It's amazing.
Right. Once you
I
leave
almost
this
put Dolly
dimension
once back
space,
before.
anything can go. But you can't visit the past physically because it doesn't exist anymore in this third dimension. You can't go forward in time either.
You won't be changing the past. None of that. No grandfather, what do you call it? Complex grandfather.
No.
Okay. Dunsel is asking, Preston, have you ever been to our moon? And if so, was there anything underneath the surface? I did have an out-of-body experience before I went to the moon. And I'm flying around and I thought I did see something that looked like an artificial structure. And I went inside of it. And this is when I think I may have started kind of lucid dreaming or projecting, because it got a little strange. I was actually moving objects, which I know you can't do really when you're out of body. So I'm a bit iffy on it. But I'm absolutely sure I did go to the moon, because Robert Monroe, the OBE guy, talked about going to the moon and teaching other people how to do it. And that's always in my MO. If they can do it, so can I. ETs did take Dolly to the moon. They showed her a base on the far side, I believe it was.
Yeah, but it's totally not, nobody's there anymore.
No, it's not functional.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go quick, Dolly, because we've got literally 5 minutes.
Okay.
So can you talk about Earth mankind transitioning to the fifth dimension? Caroline's asking.
That is a myth that they're propagating. That is not going to happen to you all. You don't come here to transition like that. When you're done with this body in this dimension and you've gone through this life, you leave, you take your astral body with you, your prana, and you leave and you go back to source and you look over everything that you've done here, and you get like a debrief, you get talked to about everything. There is no transition. Each level of existence comes after you evolve to it. And it's a personal thing. Everybody evolves at a different pace. We're not all going to just into the fifth dimension. That is not going to happen. That's a lie.
No, the Earth is not going to transition into the fifth dimension. It's already part of the fifth dimension. We're in the third dimension, and we will all gain wisdom and experience to the point where we can perceive the fifth dimension that we're already in. I think that would be the best way to put it. Okay, moving along real quickly. Sorry, guys, we're going fast. J.D. Vance said ETs are demons. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. J.D. Vance is a Christian. You have to remember his religion is talking to him. That's his talking point. We all have to respect other people's values. No, you can't make somebody wake up to what's really going on.
You cut out, Dolly. You're not muted. You just cut out. I don't know why. Nope. All right. Well, what? No, you're cut out. While you're trying to figure that out, I'm going to go on to the next question.
Okay, how about now?
You're good.
Okay. We have to stop judging what other people think and say. Okay. All you're supposed to do is ferret out the truth for yourself. You have to educate yourself and become within yourself confident enough to know what the truth is after you've done the work on it. That's it. If JD Vance says what he says, he's entitled to it. Don't get mad at him. Leave him alone.
I'm mad at him.
No.
He needs to do his research.
Well,
he should not be saying something that he has not researched.
I know, but we shouldn't talk about him behind his back either. Let the man live. If you have a conversation with him face to face, then you say it. You say, how come you think this? That's all.
He's watching.
Okay.
All right. Little Wave. I had a powerful OBE first time about 2 months ago, but haven't since been able to do it again. Do you have any suggestions I can have more and frequent? Yes. Email me at Preston UFO, and I will send you my guide. But just persist. If you did it once, you can do it again.
Practice.
You are there.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't overthink it.
We're gonna have to just close it up here.
I know you need to do the contest.
We have 1 more minute or so.
Right.
So when someone is being taken on board, I'm not going to use the term abducted because some people don't like it. I just use the onboard experience. When someone is taken on board, are they taking their whole physical body or just the astral body?
It's your physical body. Yeah. Period. Yeah.
Have either of you been approached by the military? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me, not so much as Dolly. What is the whirring sound before you leave your body? That. How would I describe that? That's your own bio energy.
You're switching from physical hearing to the hearing in your consciousness. Okay. And it sounds like a whoosh. Yep.
Okay. What do the ETs think of us putting on a false flag? I'm sure they're not happy about it. Okay. We really have to. Is Secret Space Program? No. Not the 20 and back. No. Have you had ghost encounters? Yes. And I think we're going to have to stop it here, guys. Okay. Now, I would love to answer all your questions, but we ran out of time. We're going to do a Q&A. We're doing them at least once every 2 months.
You know what? After the show is recycled and it's back up for looking at, if you write a comment and ask the question and comment, we will endeavor to answer you there as well. Okay. Yeah,
in the archive of the show. All right. Who are the winners of Undersea UFO Base?
What was the number?
The secret number was 340. Nobody guessed it, but some of you came awfully close. And in fact, OC Angie, the first to guess, is a winner with 326.
Okay.
And amazingly, Flea Market Gold and Little Wave 2 guessed the same number, and they are even closer. 7 away. So these are the 3 winners. Aussie Angie, Flea Market Gold, and Little Wave. Some of you guys came pretty close. No one guessed the actual number. You guys, email me, prestonufo@gmail.com. Here is the email address again, right there. And let me know where to send. And if you have that book, you can pick another. Just go to my website, and we will get it done.
Yep.
So that's it for the show, you guys. Thank you so much. I adore all of you. We really appreciate all the questions. We appreciate all of you watching. Thank you for the donations, Cherise. Namaste, Sunny Burnett. You guys delivered today. Wow, Star Orchid. We love you. Louise, amazing. Ogazan Nardik, thank you.
Thank you.
Stargazer 424. I'll see Angie. Wow.
Oh,
Already paying the postage for the book you won. That's
gosh.
awesome.
Yeah,
Christine 1111.
I love you.
Oh, we
That's
love
sweet.
you. Sorry we couldn't get to all your questions, guys, but we absolutely are so thankful you could watch us tonight. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And now it's 9:53, so we have basically 3 minutes to say
Good night. Yeah.
good night. Yeah.
Good evening. Okay. Thank you all, everybody. We love you. Please go have a wonderful week. Learn all that is learnable. It will make you feel great about yourself. We are coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM. We are on the Gulf Coast. We are on Facebook, Roku, Rumble, and YouTube. There's so much to do. We're in spring. If you're planting, gosh, have a good time doing it. I will be doing it. I cannot wait to get into the dirt again. I'm so happy. I want shorts. So y'all have a wonderful, blessed weekend. I hope that April brings you nothing but beauty and joy. Night, night, everybody.
Good night.